is that we are going to be recording this meeting tonight. So that's just in case anyone needs to have access to this later on. I'll be able to do that for you, whether or not I am able to put that on the St John Kindergarten website, or whether or not I put that as a private YouTube video. I will email you and let you know. So once again, if you could just remember to please keep your videos and microphones turned off at all times during the presentation. This just saves on data usage for other people. At the end of the session, there will be time for questions if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask us. We also have a chat function during this meeting. So if you just wiggle over your screen, hopefully down the bottom somewhere of your screen, depending on your device that you're using, there is a section that says chat. Please feel free to open that up and type in any questions that you've got during the presentation. Mel, who is our lovely admin person, there she is waving, she's going to hopefully be able to type and answer those questions for me as I'm presenting. So feel free to use that function. If you are having any difficulties during this session, we will try our best to help you. Unfortunately, we are teachers and we're not IT experts. So I believe if you're having trouble hearing us, that you can dial in with phone using those following numbers. But like I said, we are also going to be recording this session tonight as well. I also apologise for any background noise. I am at home with my family. So I've got 2 children. It can get a little bit noisy at times. So let's see how we go. Okay. So here we go. Good start. I can't even click. Oop. All right, so before I do anything, I would just like to introduce our team at the moment. So we have Mel Shea, who is our admin. If you give us a wave, Mel, there's Mel. We also have Shelley, who is another one of our 4-year-old teachers and acting director at the moment. We have Belinda, otherwise known as BJ, there with all those awesome guitars, if you just want to say, give a wave, BJ. Marnie, who's our 3-year-old teacher, there's Marnie. And Davina, who's another one of our co-educators, otherwise known as Davs. So that's our team there. We are all here to help you out tonight. So if you do have any questions for particular members of our team at the end of the session, just let us know. So otherwise, welcome. Once again, there's our housekeeping. As I said, we will try and endeavour to help you, but we are not IT experts. All right, so before I begin, I would just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands and waters on which we meet today. And for me, that is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I would also like to acknowledge any other traditional landowners on the lands on which you are residing and that may differ to mine. I acknowledge any Indigenous people joining us today, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So here you will notice on the screen, this is our acknowledgement to country that we do with the children, and we encourage them to participate in at kinder. And we do this during group time as we feel that it is really important to embed Indigenous perspectives into our program at all times. And also very importantly, this being NAIDOC week, which is a very significant week for Indigenous peoples. And the theme of this year's NAIDOC week is always was, always will be, which I think is really important to remember, that we are residing on land that is traditionally the Indigenous peoples. So our group names. So we use Indigenous names for our groups that we have at kinder, and we refer to these names constantly. We talk to the origins, to the children about the origins of their names. And so we have Bunjil. So that is the Wurundjeri word for the creation eagle. We have Wa, which is the Wurundjeri word for crow, and Danton, which is the Wurundjeri word for parrot. So they're the names of our groups. However, you may also notice here that they are colour-coded as well. We do love some colour coding here at Kinder. It just makes your lives a little bit easier. So if you are in Bunjil, your things will always be done in blue. If you're in Wa group, your things will always be done in red. And if you're in Danton, your things will always be done in green. So who we are. So St John's Kindergarten is a community-based, government-run, not-for-profit funded kindergarten. We provide 2 funded 4-year-old groups, currently supported by state and federal funding, and 1 3-year-old group, which is not currently funded. We are run by a volunteer committee of management made up of current families, with the chair of the committee being the Vicar of St John's the Divine Church, which is currently Father John Webster. Although we are affiliated with the Anglican Church and their educational services, it is not a requirement to be part of the Anglican Church to attend our kindergarten, and we pride ourselves on the diversity that exists within our community. So this very, very big document is our philosophy here at St John's. And in a nutshell, our philosophy sees that we as a kindergarten community are non-biased and respectful to the children in our community, that they have the right to an education regardless of their background, and that we support them during their time here in every way. In early years education, we believe that children have the right to learn through play, which is developed and supported by trained educators. So a little bit about what learning through play is. So as you can see here, that we provide a developmentally appropriate play-based curriculum using the Victorian Early Years Learning Framework and based on the needs of the child and the group as a whole. So as you can see here, we have a little diagram. And so what we do is when we go through the planning process, we start by observing the children and the group. We question what we'd like your children to learn or what they're interested in. We then move into planning activities that will support these interests or learning. We then act upon that by setting up a range of experiences that will enhance this learning. And then once they've had time to use it, we reflect on what they've learned and start the process all over again. So within the framework, there are 5 developmental areas. So the first area is identity, and that it underpins that children have a strong sense of identity of themselves. The second is community, that children are connected with and contribute to their world. Well-being, that children have a strong sense of well-being. Learning, that children are confident and involved learners. And communication, children are effective communicators. And you will find out also that this also then flows through to schools, so in primary school, as this is a birth to 8 years document. So we just talked a lot about play, but why do we play in early childhood? Well, the reason we allow children to play in early childhood is because that is the way they learn. And play fosters those 5 developmental areas that I just spoke of. And play is also a great way that shows and represents and expresses a child's thinking. So here we have some examples of learning. So I've just got a couple of photos here just to show you the vast range of things that we can do through just setting up play experiences. So the first thing we have here is our mud patch, which may send shivers up the spine of some of you, but we do love to get messy here at St John's Kindergarten. So by letting children experience just a simple thing like a mud patch, we're encouraging things like gross motor skills. So that's between climbing, jumping and balancing. Obviously, when things get muddy, they get slippery and wet, and then that core strength and that balancing is really comes into effect. It helps with sensory development. So feeling the changes between what is wet and what is dry dirt. And then using this as a good way as a good discussion point. Turn taking, a really big thing for children at this age group, learning to take turns. In our mud patch, we are limited with some space, so it's really important that we talk to the children a lot about taking turns and whose turn it is, and making sure that we make safe choices before we do things. And then the biggest thing after all that is their self-help and independent skills, because once we are covered in mud, we need to get changed. So we really encourage the children to help themselves and sort themselves out by getting changed, which is a big process. It means getting your clothing, putting your dirty stuff in a bag and putting that away, getting clean clothing out and dressing yourself. So there's just a huge range in one simple little activity. And this one down the bottom here, which is I've just called the zoo, which was a fabulous example of some amazing learning that happened. So a little backstory for this is that we were going to Hillsville Sanctuary on an excursion, and the children were really excited and they were looking forward to it. And so we were preparing them for what they would see. So the children represented this thinking about what they would see by creating their own zoo. So when they did this, they were doing things like mathematical skills. So they were sorting and classifying animals, the shape and design of the enclosures, and then that also led to fine motor skills. So not only were they drawing some maps and using different mediums to draw maps and get those fine motor skills happening, they were also trying to keep the animals up. Now, pretty sure if you've had little plastic animals at your house, you know how hard it is to stand those up. So it took a lot of patience and a lot of dedication to get these animals to stand up and working on those fine motor skills. Science. This was the brilliant thing about this experience. The children then decided which animals could go with which, because they worked out who was a predator and who was prey. So they sorted those animals out and put them in enclosures. And then because they decided they didn't have enough enclosures for all the animals, they had to group them, and using that scientific knowledge of what will eat an animal and what won't eat an animal. We also then looked at geography. So we looked at where we were going, and we looked at maps of Hillsville Sanctuary. We looked at the maps they provided, how to read maps, and it also allowed for communication skills. Children worked as a collaborative team on this idea. So it took a lot of turn taking and a lot of negotiating and a lot of sharing of ideas verbally for this to all occur. So how do we share all of this with you? So we, as part of our planning and child observations, we use an online program called Story Park, which some of you may have already heard of or already use. Story Park is a safe and secure online community for us to share your child's learning journey together in real time, as well as for you to share your child's learning with us. We also use Story Park as to communicate any notices we have for you, reminders or upcoming events that are happening at the kinder. So at the beginning of the year, you will get an email from Story Park inviting you to join your child's page, which you must accept and give consent to in order to access the content. This will also invite you to download Story Parks for Families, the app for your phone or devices. And from there, you can invite other family members or significant others, who are part of your child's life, who can share your child's learning journey. So it's up to you who you'd like to share this with. So in the past, we have had people from all over the world. We've had a grandma from England join in. We have had relatives from parts of Asia, aunties, uncles. So it's up to you who you'd like to share your child's learning with. So a lot of the times we do get asked, is this safe? Story Park is a password protected private space for children, teachers and families to share stories, photos and videos with one another. Access to a child's information and stories can only be granted by their primary guardians. So that's the person whose email we use to begin with to invite you to Story Park. And no personal information is shared with a third party. If you would like to read more about their privacy, it is on their website. I know that you won't be able to click on the links here in this presentation tonight, but I will endeavour to make sure I email all these links out to you too, if you'd like to have a look at it at a later date. So here's just a couple of screenshots of what you will see on the Story Park for Families app. So here you will see an education tab. So that is where you will find all the content that we put up for your child. And then on the second picture is the family tab, and that's where you can document things that happen to your child's life, and that also allows you to share those moments with us if you want to as well. Down the bottom of the app, you will find a little button down there saying community, and that's where you're going to find all the announcements and notifications from us about things that are happening. So it's really important to keep an eye on that because we do use that as the majority of our notifications for you. Ideas is a fabulous little tab, very handy, especially during all this remote learning time. It's done by Story Park, and it's just got a whole range of play-based ideas that you can do at home if that's something you're interested in. That activity button down the bottom of the tab is also just a rundown of all the things that happened in a chronological order. So that includes stories, that includes community posts and notifications, and then your account, obviously, where you can change your account settings, set up photos, etc. Another thing we do here at St John's is we pride ourselves on being a child-safe environment. And we do this by embedding child-safe practices into our program. And how we do this is that we empower children in their bodily autonomy and allow children to have a voice in order to help prevent child abuse. Now, this is a very big thing, and when we do it, we will always talk to you through Story Park about what we're doing, but please be aware it is always through child-appropriate activities and child-appropriate themes. So we do just some very simple things. So in 3-year-olds, we start off with very basics, and that is just something as simple as consent. So we will ask children and role model things like, can I give you a hug? Can I help you get changed? Little things like that. And then also that role modeling of listening to our friends and hearing what they say and making sure we follow what they've said to us. So if they say they don't want us to touch them, that we respect that. As we move into the 4-year-old program, we extend on that a little bit. So we look at things like, we start off with things like feelings and understanding feelings and what all the types of different feelings that we have. Often for children at this age, they experience a wider range of emotions, but often they don't actually know what those emotions are. So we give a name to those emotions, whether it be happy, sad, scared, angry, scared, helping them understand all the things that happen in their body. One other thing we do at Kinder is body bubbles, and you might have heard of these before. It's just another way of explaining personal space to children. We have a little song where we make a little bubble with our hands, we draw it around our body, and then we talk about when it's okay to pop somebody's bubble to give them a hug, or when somebody's bubble is really big and they just need lots of space. We also talk about things like trusted adults, which is just adults that a child can go to if they feel scared about something and who will believe them. We have a wide range of books that are age appropriate. And as I said before, modelling consent. So it is very basic. It is part of everyday things. But if you have any questions about that, please feel free to come and speak to me later about it. And as I said, during the year, next year during orientation, I'm going to touch a little bit more on this too. So, Australia Post, it's been fun. We've had a little bit of trouble getting information packs out to people in a timely manner, so I do apologise for that. We did try to give a lot of time for them to arrive. So hopefully for a lot of you, you will have your information pack now. Inside your information pack, you would find an enrolment form. And it's really important to go through that enrolment form and complete all of the questions. Please don't leave anything blank. It is vital that they are filled out completely. You'll also have 2 timetables for next year for 2021. One of those will be your group interview times, which we hold on our orientation day in term 1. That's where we can just have a quick 10-minute chat about your child and anything you want to discuss before we start the year, and also your orientation calendar. So we have an orientation process at the start of the year where we halve the groups. We start off slow and then we gradually increase the time and increase the group size, just so that children don't feel overwhelmed, especially for some of these children, it's their first time at kinder. Another thing you'll find in your information pack is your meet and greet day coming up in December. Now at this stage, and I will talk a little bit more about this, it is pending COVID-19 restrictions. At this stage, we can't hold this day. As I said, I will go over that a little bit later, but we've put it in there just in case we can go ahead. You'll also find a code of conduct. This will need to be signed by you, read and signed by you. The fee schedule, something else I'll touch on. Obviously, we've had an announcement by Dan Andrews today stating that kinder will be free for next year. So we will touch on that again. Immunisation schedule, EduThreads information card, which is who we use to provide kinder uniforms. We have a Wominjeka barbecue invite for next year. Once again, whether or not we're allowed to, we'll let you know. We have a hat colour choice form, which we'd love for you to fill out and get back to us. And we also had some information on our committee roles. So what you will need to do is have your enrolment form, your code of conduct, copies of your immunisation certificate and birth certificate and hat colour choice form back to us by the 27th of November, please. If you are a couple of days late, that is okay. We will forgive you, we understand, but please get them back to us as soon as you can. As most of you may be aware, we fall under the legislation of no jab, no play, which means all children need to be immunised and they need to be up to date. If your child is exempt for any reason for the immunisations, or they're on an immunisation catch-up schedule, we will need to have the paperwork that states this. Conscientious objection is no longer valid within Victoria in early childhood. And when you bring your child to us for them to be enrolled, we need to have a copy of the form that you can see on your screen here. It has to be this one. It cannot be your maternal and child health book. It must be this form from Medicare. And if you don't have that form, you can access it via MyGov. For some of you, this will be applicable. If you've got a child and they have any of the following, so anaphylaxis, allergies, or asthma, we are going to need a copy of your child's action plan. And this plan needs to be signed off by your child's doctor. Now, obviously, these are 12-month plans, so just keep that in the back of your mind before you start next year. Go see your GP and get these filled out. Just wanted to let you know too, with COVID-19, it's vitally important now that if your child suffers from hay fever or any form of allergies related to seasonal things like pollens or dust, we need medical proof of that as well. Otherwise, we do have a policy now during COVID-19 that even with the slightest sneeze or runny nose, we have to send a child home. So if you don't want to call every 5 minutes saying to come and collect your child, please ensure that you get one of these forms filled out for hay fever as well. We will also need you to provide for any of these conditions, any medications and any administration tools that you use for these medications. So if your child has asthma and they've got a puffer, we need a spacer and a mask. And for any child with allergic reactions, we either need an EpiPen or any antihistamines and any dosage devices like syringes. And they need to be in their full packaging in the bottle with your child's name on it. And we will store them. And they have to be stored at kinder. So please provide us something that we can keep for the whole year. And just to also let you know that if we don't have any of these, your child can't come to kinder until we do. So please, at the start of January, maybe set yourself a reminder to call your GP and get all that paperwork done for us. Also, that things that aren't in your packs, just so that we could save some money, not money, sorry, paper, save some paper and a little bit of money, a little bit of postage, just so that we could save some paper and not destroy a forest. We do have some information books which will be going up onto our website. So if you go onto St John's Kindergarten Croydon.org.au, you will find a drop-down tab saying information packs, and all that information will be there. They're not currently up at the moment. I will endeavour to get them up very, very soon. There will be a general information booklet about St John's Kindergarten, and there are also group-specific booklets for things that you need to know before starting kinder. So please, once they're up, go and have a look at those, download them, have a read, and if you've got any questions, let us know. So the most important thing that you're probably all dying to know is, what do I bring? What do I send to kinder with my child? The biggest thing that I can say to you is, whatever you send to kinder, make sure it is clearly named. I cannot stress this enough. You may feel that your child knows what their jumper is. You may think your child knows that that's their bag. All it takes is for one other child to come with the exact same thing, and it gets very, very confusing. So please name everything, otherwise things will get lost over time. So one of the things I need to do is nothing too over the top, but please make sure that you've got a big enough backpack. Obviously in there, you're going to need to provide some things, lunches, changes of clothes, and children will come home with lots and lots of artwork as well. So something that's big and easy to manage. We also need you to provide snack and lunch for children attending longer days. For those children that are attending our 3-year-old Danton group, you will only need to provide a snack, as it's only for the 3 hours. You'll need to provide a water bottle for your child. No glass, obviously, just so that in case it breaks, and something that's very easy to open. We do prefer that you don't provide the cooler flasks with the lids that screw on and off. The only problem with the lids that screw on and off, that is, if that bottle tips over, water goes everywhere. And I speak from experience. Just the other day, we had that happen during lunchtime. Water went everywhere, all over everyone. Something with just a pop spout or a straw of some sort is more preferable. And just look, if you could just see in the picture there, just something similar to that drink bottle would be fabulous. Spare clothes, even if you feel that your child is completely toilet trained, we often need spare clothing because they are going to get dirty at kinder. We have a mud patch. They're going to get very dirty at kinder. So we need you to provide us with appropriate clothing for the weather. So in summer, making sure that there's a couple of pairs of t-shirts, shorts and underwear and socks and shoes. And for winter, just ensuring that there's warm clothing for them to change into as well. We will be ordering kinder hats for all the children. So that's why we have that order form for you to fill out. We require them to have a St John's kinder hat. It meets all of our SunSmart policy conditions. It is a bucket hat that has a drawstring at the back for fitting to fit the hat properly, and that will stay at kinder for the whole year. We found that if children bring their own hats, sometimes they forget, and if they don't have a hat, they're not allowed outside. So that's why we have our own kinder hats. So one of the other things that we do here at St John's Kinder is that we have a progressive snack. So we do this because in order to promote independence in our children and assist them to recognise their bodily needs, this is why we have progressive snack. So this means that children can access their snack and water at any time during the play sessions. This way, we're not dragging them away from times of play that it's really important to them just to get them to eat. And also, if we drag them away, they may not actually be hungry at that time. But in saying that, we also encourage them to eat if we notice that they haven't had anything for a long time. We don't let them starve. We do keep an eye on these things, especially at the start of the year. And for those children that are coming for the longer times or during sessions that will fall through a lunch, we do all sit down and have a formal lunch. As I said, that won't be for anyone in the Danton group, but that is for Bunjil and Wah group. When we have those longer days, we do all sit down together for lunch. So rest assured that even in those long days, we will ensure that your child eats something. One way to make it a bit easier for your children, especially in Bunjil and Wah, is that we recommend that you maybe have 2 small lunch boxes that are easily identifiable as one for snack, one for lunch. Often children, when they've got a big lunchbox full of food, they may all just start eating it all and be finished by 10:30, and they've got nothing else to get them through to for the rest of the day. So please make sure that if you think your child's going to need that little bit of extra support, knowing which is which, just provide 2 smaller lunch boxes. Make sure it is easy to use. That is the biggest thing. I know often at Christmas time, family members might get very excited and want to buy little special things for kinder for your children to take, and that might include lunch boxes and drink bottles. But I would recommend maybe choosing a lunchbox and getting your child to choose it and testing it out in the store before you buy it. Sometimes what we think is easy to manipulate can be actually quite difficult for a child to manipulate, especially things with seals around it that have that good suction grip. They're really hard to open and close. So just be mindful of that. Whatever box you provide for your child, get them to have a go of it, see if they can open it, see if they can close it by themselves, or if they really struggle, maybe look into getting something else. And also just to remind you that we are a nut prevention zone, meaning that we cannot have any nut products and anything that may have nut products in them. So obviously no things like peanut butter. Be careful of and mindful of muesli bars. Often those healthy bars often have a lot of nuts and things in them. Nutella is a chocolate spread, but it is made with hazelnuts. So please make sure that gone. Oh, goodness me, go back. Sorry about that. Please make sure that you don't provide anything with Nutella in it. And for those Aldi diehard fans out there like myself, I love Aldi. Please make sure you don't provide Noppers. They also contain Nutella in them. Rest time. So this is for Bunjil and Wah group. So this is for our 4-year-old children only. So on Monday and Wednesday, the Wah group will be having a rest period, and on Fridays, the Bunjil group will be having a rest period. It is a requirement to provide the children with time to rest on the longer day, and that's mandated by our rules and regulations in early childhood. So we ask you to please provide us with a small pillow, small blanket, and a fitted cot sheet in a bag that can be either zipped up or pulled close in some way. I recommend toddler pillows, so something small like a toddler pillow, not a full-size regular pillow. Blankets ideally should be about cot size, and just avoid really thick, fluffy quilts and doona type bedding, because they are quite difficult to pack away. And obviously in promoting independence, we do get the children to pack away their own beds when they're finished. So things that are easy to manipulate and easy to get into a bag are preferable. As I said, we have mattresses that we provide, and that's why they are the size of a standard cot. A child's cot, baby's cot. So if you can provide us with a fitted sheet, so that's one of the sheets with the elastic around the edge that we can hook over those mattresses for your child, that would be great as well. Space is limited. Yes, it is. We do have 2 tubs, one for each group, but we will have a grand total of 44 rest time bags at kinder, stored at kinder, 22 in one and 22 in the other. So please make sure that whatever you provide is small enough to fit in those containers, but also that it's a size that's easy enough for your child to put their stuff in and out of. And once again, name it. I know a lot of you may show your child going, this is your pillow and this is your blanket. Don't forget, they will forget. Please put your name on everything. It makes our lives, when we are trying to go through 44 bags of bedding, it does make our life a lot easier if there's a very clear name on the front of that bag. Fees. I had this wonderful slide all ready to go, and then Dan Andrews decided to change everything on me. Thanks, Dan. But good news for you. At this stage, 4-year-old kinder will be funded by the state government next year, with approximately $2,000 per child on top of whatever other funding we get throughout the year for your child to attend in the 4-year-old program. We are waiting on information from the Department of Education about that. For those people that have paid fees, we will be looking at refunding them to you once we get that official notification from the department as to what we're getting and what we need to do. They are a little bit slow at the moment. They've had a lot on their plate. So as soon as we hear, we will be in contact with you. Generally, though, we do have a funded 4-year-old kinder program, which means that the government funds children in that Bunjil and Wa group to a certain point, and we use the fees to cover the gap that that the kinder needs to run. For those that have any form of healthcare or concession cards, such as the ones shown on your screen there, the kinder is free for those people in the 4-year-old program. However, there is still for everyone a $50 maintenance fee that we require just to cover the cost of maintenance and bits and pieces. Unfortunately, sorry, 3-year-olds, you are unfunded, which means we do charge fees, but they've also announced that this will hopefully be subsidised next year too. So for those in the 3-year-old program in Danton, we will be getting in contact with you too. Once again, we are just going to have to wait on information from the department. They are very, very slow. Once we find out what we will be getting from the department in order to help subsidise the fees a little bit for you, we will let you know. If you do have any questions about fees, our fee officer for this year and for next year is the lovely Anastasia. She has an email address that you can contact her on there that's on the screen. And as I said, any of these links, any of these email addresses, I will send to you in an email after this presentation. Oh, sorry. And I just wanted to add to that. We prefer direct debit into our account for any money. We do have a credit card tap system, but just to let you know that it'll be during the times that we can get someone to do that, and it also comes with a surcharge. So I would highly recommend just direct debiting into our account. All right, uniforms. Sorry, I'm just going to take a sip of water. I've talked a lot and I'm just getting a little bit dry. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, so we do have a uniform at St John's, but please note it is not compulsory for you to buy any uniform. The only thing that we ask for you to purchase is the hat, the kinder hat. However, if you would like, we use a organisation called EduThreads, which is an online company, and they have a variety of St John's branded clothing for your children. So there is t-shirts, long sleeve polos and jumpers and hoodies that you can purchase online. These uniforms are posted directly to you, so you will get them through the post. In order to access it, go onto the EduThreads website. There will be a tab that says Find My School. You click on that, drop down to the box that says Find My Early Childhood Education Centre. And when you get there, look for St John's. So if you can see on the screen there, I've just taken a screenshot of that with an arrow pointing. There's our St John's kindergarten. Please don't get us mixed up. There's another St John's kindergarten in Sandringham. We're not the Sandringham, we're the Croydon one, with a photo of our lovely kinder on there. So click on that and that will lead you to the page to purchase any uniforms if you want. We do recommend uniform, especially even just a t-shirt. It saves the clothing. It doesn't matter then if they get paint on it, if they get it dirty. You can put it over other clothing if you want to layer. It just saves all your children's clothing. They are hard wearing. They last a long time. They are a really good quality product. So I say if you're going to get anything, at least grab a t-shirt to put over any other clothing your child might be wearing. And as I said, it just protects them. We do have a lot of messy activities at kinder, and it will just save you a lot of cleaning stress. So the other thing that we do throughout the year is working bees. Now, we generally aim to have 4 working bees per year. Now, obviously, we ask you to pay $50 at the start of the year towards our working bee costs. But if you attend 2 of our working bees, that will get refunded back to you. There are lots of different things that we have that need help around the kinder with. These will include things like cleaning the kinder, just windows, dusting, getting rid of cobwebs, to gardening things. So mowing the lawn, painting the deck, giving things a bit of a touch up, fixing a few things here and there. So there are lots of jobs. So if you're a bit worried that you may not be able to do anything, let us know. I'm sure we can find a job for you if you're really willing to help out. If you can't attend working bees, but you'd love to help out in other ways, just let us know. There are often other jobs throughout the year that we might not get a chance to get on top of that you might be able to help us out with, and we can use that towards your 2 working bee credits. Now, in saying that though, this year we have struggled with working bees, obviously due to COVID-19. So we will endeavour, if we can, to ensure that we try and get those 4 working bees happening next year, but it will all depend on COVID-19. But with the way we're going, I have my fingers crossed that it will happen again for us next year. Like I said at the start, we do have organised a meet and greet for all of our families for next year, which will be held in December. However, at this stage, it won't be going ahead. We aren't allowed to have you on site yet. We're still not even allowed to have the families that are currently attending on site. But what we decided to do is we decided to plan this in the event that we are allowed to go ahead and have this day. I think it's really important for these children to at least be part of a transition, a little mini transition time. So we will try our best. We may even need to modify it in some way. So please keep watch of your emails. We're going to contact you closer towards the date because every day rules keep changing for us as to what we can and can't do. So we will keep you informed. So please keep an eye on your emails. And as I said, we were hoping to go ahead as planned. If not, it might be slightly modified. We may have to split you into groups. We'll see how we go. But if we are allowed to run this day, we are under the impression that it will be most likely outdoors only. You can come inside and use the facilities if needs to, but we won't be holding anything in the room. We'll be doing it out in the yard. Face masks will need to be worn. We'll need to practice social distancing between adults. We ask that only one adult per child attends, and that we'll also be getting you to sign in and out with a phone number so that we can keep track with contact tracing in case of the event of a case of COVID. Now, after all that, if we can't go ahead with this meet and greet, which I will be very devastated by, but I'm really got my fingers crossed. But if we can't, if things just don't work out for us, what we will do is we will endeavour to do some sort of virtual meet and greet. I'll do it on a day. We will do it like this via Zoom. I'll take the children around. I'll walk around the yard. I'll show them the kinder room. Little things like that. They can get to know the staff. So we will try our hardest to see what we can do if we cannot go ahead and meet face to face. All right, the fun stuff. This is where we get some active participation from the audience. So like I mentioned before, our kindergarten is managed by a volunteer committee of management, and that is as part of a not-for-profit incorporated association. That's what we need in order to run. At the moment, we currently have the positions of our chair, which is Father John Webster, vice chair, secretary, and our fees officer positions have been filled for next year. But we do have some positions that we need filled for next year. And we would greatly appreciate it. So the biggest thing that we need at the moment is we are looking for a treasurer for next year. A treasurer is someone who, if you've got a little bit of a financial background or bookkeeping background, would be very beneficial. They are the person that we go to authorise payments, that helps set out budgets, and little things. Now, this person is also a member of our executive team, and if we do not have a treasurer, we don't have a kinder. So what I am asking is that if anyone is willing to take that position on, please use the chat function now to pop your name down and maybe just put treasurer if you're willing to do that. Greatly appreciated. Otherwise, if you're not want to be on the committee, but that's not your forte of being a treasurer, we do have some other roles. So we're looking for group liaisons, which is just someone that we can go to, a person per group, helping with social gatherings and getting information out to groups, specific groups that they're in. We're also looking for people for our social committee. That's to help organise fundraising and social events. And we are also looking for an enrolment officer for next year. And the enrolment officer is someone that helps us out with all the enrolments for the following year, as well as attending some meetings held by Micah, who is our central enrolment organisation. So just keeping in touch with them and being our spokesperson to Micah. So Mel is on the chat. Mel is there hanging. Usually at this point of the time, we'd say we're going to lock you in the room and not let you leave until we get these positions filled. Unfortunately, it's Zoom and I cannot do that for you, but so we would greatly appreciate any person that would like to volunteer to join our committee. It's great fun. I myself have been on a committee. I was on my children's committee when they were in childcare. It was also a not-for-profit organisation. My record is 5 years consistently as part of the executive committee. I challenge anyone to beat me. So if anyone's out there that thinks I could do 5 years on a committee, be my guest, but I'm still the record holder at the moment. So if anyone can beat me, please feel free to pop your name down in the chat and any of the roles that you might be interested in on our committee. The committee meets generally once a month, and at the moment it's always been done by Zoom, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home or find babysitters. It's nice and easy. They usually only go for an hour or so and then you're done. So I can see lots of things popping up. So I'm hoping that's our chat, and I hope that's lots of people volunteering. In the meantime, we will move on, hopefully. Good to go, Mel? Yep. Lovely. All right, and that leads us to the end of our presentation. This will be the time for questions. So you can either ask a question in the chat, that's fine if you've got any questions. Otherwise, there is once I finish sharing my screen, there is a hand raising feature. Now, the problem is with Zoom is this could be anywhere on your device. I don't know specifically where your hand raising feature is. Potentially, if you're using a laptop at the moment, it can be in the chat button. Down there might be a little arrow saying extra things you can do. I think there might be a raise hand there. Otherwise, it will be potentially in the chat with the 3 little dots. There's possibly the hand raise. If you're on your phone, I really don't know how to help you. I'm sorry. So I will give you a minute to see if you can find that, if you've got any questions. That is all. Ooh, what have I done? That is our presentation for tonight. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. I'm just going to stop sharing. That should bring us all here. There's all the people. So yes, so I can now all relatively see you. If you've got any questions for me, or if you have any questions for any of our team, now's your chance to ask them. If you can't find the hand raising, feel free just to flick on your video and I might be able to see you, and that might help me out. Hi, Devu. Hang on, let me just get you unmuted. Oh, have I done it? See, this is what happens when teachers have to do technology. Hi, Devu.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Have you got a question?
I do. I couldn't find the hand. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just wanted to, I did see the list of students in the information pack. Just how many teachers would be there in the class? That's just something I want to know.
No, it's a good question. So what we do is we have 2 staff members with 22 children. So the ratio is 1 to 11 children. So we always have a teacher and a co-educator. Depending on the needs of the group, we do occasionally have additional educators that help us out. So, but generally it is 2 educators. We also have throughout the day, either myself or Shelley for Bunjalawar group, we are floating around in the office too. So we're always on hand. No worries. And there we go. Is it Daemu? Hello. Hang on, let me see. Can you unmute? Oh, there you are. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good. Have you got a question for us? If you want, if it's a bit hard, you can always email us. Would that be easier if you have a question? Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to ask now, but if it's a little bit hard, we will be getting some translators as well during orientation to make it a bit easier for you.
Thank you.
That's okay. All right, I'm just going to go along. Don't seem to have any other questions. Look, please. Oh, okay, hang on. Yes, I do. Hi, Jaspal?
Yeah,
Hi,
Katrina.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm Jesslyn instead. Jesslyn also did kinder from you. That's my eldest one, and now the little
Oh.
one's coming in the same group actually.
Oh, lovely. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, she's still missing the kinder.
Oh, absolutely. We miss her too.
So Katrina, I have one question with the fees, around the fees.
Yes.
Now I understood that you mentioned that Dan just made an announcement. He will waive the fees for kinder for next year.
Yes.
So if we haven't paid yet, and the due date was 8th of November, which was 2 days ago,
Mhm.
so we should wait now or till the
Look,
announcement? Or?
I will make the executive call and say, yeah, look, just wait for now. And look, if we need to, we're going to get in contact with you really soon. But look, if you haven't paid fees, please don't worry. But as I said, we will need to just wait to see what we get from the Department of Education as to what we're doing with the fees. I imagine it's going to be fine. It's all going to be covered, and it will also save us having to do any refunds at this stage. So if you haven't paid, please don't worry. Maybe just hold off a little bit, and then hopefully we'll get some information from the department very soon to find out what we are doing in relation to fees.
Okay, perfect.
All right, no worries.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. If there doesn't seem to be anyone else, but look, we've still got some things coming up in the chat, so please keep putting the questions through in the chat. That's fine. Tash, I'm just going to let you know my daughter doesn't fall until February. She attend orientation. So yes, if you've got if they're coming into Bunjalawa and they're still going to be turning 4, they can still come to orientation. The only time that children won't be able to attend is if your child's in Dantum and they're 2 turning 3. So the current ratio is from 3 to 5 years. So Tash, you'll be fine even if they're still 3 and they're turning 4 in February, you're still able to come. But for anyone in Dantum, if your child is 2 and they don't turn 3 until February, March or April, you will need to wait until they turn 3, just based on, it's because of the regulations and the ratios that we need to have for staff. But if for any orientations that say that parents can attend, you are more than welcome to come along and bring them. But when the sessions start and running, if your child still isn't 3, they will not be able to attend kinder unless they do. I know we've also had some questions about whether or not you have to, for the families in Dantum, do you need to pay fees if they're not going to attend because they haven't turned 3? And the answer to that at the moment is yes, because obviously we need to hold a spot for that child. And obviously if you're not paying fees before they attend, we're ultimately holding a spot for you and we're losing, and potentially someone else could be filling that spot and paying fees at that time. So in order to hold your spot in Dantum group in 3-year-olds, you will need to pay fees. I think that's all. Is there anything from the staff? Does anyone from the staff want to say anything and happily unmute any of you? Look at them, they're all quiet. They're not going. Shelley will, yay, good on you, Shelley. There we go. Go, Shelley.
I was just wondering if the social person that we've asked for the kinder, if people are thinking it's too much of a job, it could be a job share. Could it be a job share situation, a job role where we could have a Dantum person and a one person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that work or not?
We do ask for quite a few volunteers for our social committee, so just to help lighten the load. And the other great thing about that is if we do have quite a few people join our social committee, then you can take it in turns to come to the committee meetings. So it means you don't have to attend every single one. You can job share, which is great. And BJ, hi BJ, hang on, unmute yourself. Hang on, press the button, BJ.
Come back here. Yeah.
Yay!
As you can see, I'm terrible with computers, hopeless. My question is, do we need people for general committee? Because we normally have general committee as well as social committee.
Look, that's another thing. If you'd like to
So
just
do we
join
need
our
people
general
for-
committee, obviously we're hoping to get all of our major roles done first. So, but if the general committee is something you'd like to join us on to, then please pop your hand up for that. We are more than happy for you to come and join us as general. Just another thing about the committee, it's a great way to find out what's happening at Kinder on another level, and to be able to be a part of sort of the decisions of the Kinder, and to get to know us even better and how the Kinder runs. It's a really great way to just get that little bit extra out of your child's kindergarten year. As I said, I've been on a committee for 5 years, and it was really great. It taught me a lot of things. It taught me things I didn't even know. So I went from just being a kinder teacher to learning how to run an incorporated association. Like, it was just amazing. It was a great opportunity to learn new skills. And I think if COVID-19 has taught us anything, let's learn new skills. I mean, who would have thought as teachers we'd all be here on Zoom doing information nights? So please, if general committee is something you'd like to join us on, please feel free to do that too. That would be wonderful. Oh, hang on, there's Dee. Hi, Dee.
Dennis has a question. I'm just gonna translate it for her.
Yeah, sure.
With the working fee payment,
Mhm.
the $50 fee, you know how it's due on the 8th of November?
Mhm.
She just got the form today, so.
Look, that's okay. We understand that everything's arriving in the post a lot slower than we hoped. Just pay it now. That will be absolutely fine. And that goes to anyone. If you still haven't got your pack, please don't worry. But yes, look, please also, you will need to pay the maintenance fee. So for everyone, even though fees are going to be waived, we still have a maintenance fee that needs to be paid. So when you get your pack, when you can, please pay us, let us, and just let us know if you're having any trouble, and you don't get your packs, let us know, or even let Anastasia know. She can always email out any invoices to you as well.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, look, we do understand it's been a bit of a tricky thing to try and get everything out to you in time.
Yeah, and also just to double check, we got the form for the kindergarten fees, but we don't have to pay that, right? Because of the government funding?
Yes, so at the moment they're saying that we're getting funded, so don't worry about the fee part. That was all put in the packs well before we found out this information. So it was only announced today, this morning at about 10 o'clock. So we've only just found out about it ourselves. So we are still waiting to get some more information behind that, which does make everything a little bit harder for us all, but please do not stress about fees. If you do have any questions, please just let us know. Email the Kinder or email Anastasia at the fees email address, and we'll get in contact with you and help you out. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, BJ.
Okay, I just want to apologise to everybody if I've missed anything putting them in the packs. I did it after work, late at night, and also I am hopeless with computers. So if there's any mistakes, come and talk to me. I'm sorry.
No, we don't. You don't need to apologise, BJ. You did an amazing job, and also we did have a computer that was quickly losing information on us, and it died on us the other day. So we were dealing with some very ancient technology as well. So welcome to St John's, where things like to fall apart, and governments like to change the ideas and the rules on us, and every time. So yes, but please, if you are missing anything, if there's something that you're unsure of, please just get in contact with us. We endeavour to get back to you as quickly as we can. As I said, we will also have time at the start of next year. If there's anything that you're unsure of, just let us know. And when you come and join us, and we'll do what we can to help you out. I think that might be everyone. If there's anyone else that needs to ask anything now, or please just pop your screen on for me so I can see you. Otherwise, I might be calling it a night. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to all our staff. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, BJ. Thank you, Marnie. And thank you, Dabs, for joining us tonight. Thank you to everyone here for joining us. I hope it was informative enough. Obviously, it's been a big learning curve. Oh, thank you, everyone. I'm just watching the chat. Thank you. Getting some thank yous. So, yes. So, as I said, thank you, everyone, for joining us. It has been a big learning curve doing all this online, and we appreciate your patience and understanding as we all navigate this together. Wow, Hamish has learnt how to do a clap emoji. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Dear. So there. Oh, hang on. Anita, did you need to ask a question? I'm just going to unmute you. Is there anything you needed to ask? You've just done a hand raise.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I wanted to clap the hands and I just I clicked right the hand. So sorry. Sorry for that.
We're all learning, Anita.
Yeah, so just wanted to thank you. Yeah.
No worries. Thanks, Anita. All right. So thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you all. As I said, please keep an eye on your email for the updates on the meet and greet day and any other updates we might have. And we really look forward to seeing you all very soon. That's it. I am going to end that here. Night, everyone, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.